Hey everybody, and welcome to a new installment of Split Second. My name is Julio, and this is the channel where we do what people in the industry call talking hands style reviews.
Jennifer Lopez.
No, not that type of talking hands. This type of talking hands. Guys, I'm not okay. But yeah, that's what I mean. You clicked on this video. It's your own fault, really. Let's just do the music. Before proceeding, please remember to do all the YouTube thingies. They're all up here. The like, the comment, and the sub. They're just straps. These straps come to me today on loan, courtesy of Joel over at Leather Cre8tions. Leather Cre8tions, they are, I say they, and it's really just one dude, Joel. He's awesome. He does custom leather work. It's not just straps. He does a whole bunch of other stuff. I'll throw up images here if I remember. They're so well made, guys. They're so great. Joel gets a lot of different materials. A lot of these aren't personally my style, you know, I'm not really one to wear extremely colorful straps, but these do show off his work marvelously. Before we go into that, quick wrist check. Still wearing the Christopher Ward C63 Sealander. You can see my review for this guy up here in the corner. Joel was kind enough to label some of these, or maybe all of these, and I just left a few of the labels off. Let's start with this guy. What do we have here? So this is Snake. Now, really important to note, even though the top is snake, the backing is cowhide. Joel told me that all his straps have a Crazy Horse leather backing unless they are made of something completely different, and if that were the case, I'll just go ahead and notate it here. But let's start with this guy. So this is not something I'm going to be showcasing on any watches. This is something he made for an Oris, I believe, and he told me that it didn't come out well. That's why he's not really using it or anything. But it's a great way to show off the finishing. I think it's superb. They are very supple. This has this particular ridge, which honestly, it would have looked really cool, I think. Just continuing on from the indented, I don't know what you call it, the obnoxious 10 or 12 inch lug width. This would have looked great, I think. I wish I had a watch that I could try this on, but otherwise, you know, just take a look at that. Very pliant. It's very soft to the touch as well. The vintage style 2-stitch here, it all looks amazing. It all looks great, really. Moving on to the next, we have tilapia, and tilapia is fish.
Fish are friends, not food.
And this just looks great, guys. We're gonna go ahead and get this on a couple of different watches, and I'm just gonna showcase the wrist rolls while I talk about this. What we have here is a tilapia strap with a red dye to it. Has the 2-stitch on the ends, on the spring bar end, as well as the buckle end. And this just, it looks phenomenal. It's very well made, very soft, very supple, and you can pair this off with different red dialed watches or just anything you like, really. Like I said, it's not really my particular style, but I do see how a lot of people would get a lot of mileage out of something like this. One thing that I do want to note is that he didn't use cowhide on all of it. Let me just go ahead and get this into focus here. This up here is tilapia. This is actual tilapia skin here. Because this is so bandy and pliant, you might have some trouble when it comes to fitting this on a watch, because it doesn't really add that little resistance you sometimes play around with in order to get this fitted. But otherwise, very, very well executed. Now, this is a 20 millimeter, so we're going to be showing this on a few 20 millimeter watches just so you can get a frame of reference. When possible, I'm going to go ahead and try and match these to different colored dials. Otherwise, I'm going to be showing them on as neutral colored dials as possible. And this is shell cordovan. Now, contrary to Crazy Horse, which is, you know, not actually made from horses, the shell cordovan actually is made of horse. This is, to be more specific, made from the layer just beneath the top layer of the horse's posterior.
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
This leather is very tough. It's very resistant to cracking, which is, you know, part of the reason why it's so expensive and so premium feeling too. It smells great, and it does have a bit of a break-in period because of that. It's a little bit tougher than your regular cowhide, but it's just great. Honestly, the only gripe I have, the only complaint I have about this strap in particular is the openings here where the spring bars go. Those are really very wide. Unless you have fat spring bars that'll take up this space here, you're going to have a hard time sitting them into in between your lugs. That's because the spring bar is just going to kind of move around in this hole rather than walking over to the spring bar hole. Other than that, this is a great strap, and this is a Badalasi Carlo Pueblo. This one has different stitching. I guess that's why I included this. But this is just amazing. Now, this is a particular style of strap that comes from a particular cannery. The Badalasi is a tight woven leather. It's not going to fray. It's not going to come apart. But you see the way that this is finished, got that kind of damaged, crackling look to it. That's what this is all about. It smells amazing, and this would go great with pretty much anything, really. It's got a good kind of vintagey style to it, but it also doesn't look like necessarily old or worn or damaged, really, even though that's kind of a word I already used to describe it. But it looks great, it feels great, it smells great, it's very pliable. This is basically cowhide, but it's just finished in such a different and unique way. It's very high-end leather, and honestly, worth every penny if you ask me. So yeah, let's see what else we have here. This I don't even need to read. This is suede. Yep, suede. And if I have to explain to you what suede is, I mean, honestly, why did you even click on this video? But it's just feels great. It's got a great texture to it. Very soft and very pliable, which is a characteristic of suede. This one is a 22. The Badalasi is also a 22. And yeah, this is a pretty straightforward finish. It doesn't have any stitching. Very low-key, very subdued styling to it. Very comfortable, very unique. Next up, we have an ostrich bund strap. Now, this is the first of two ostrich leather. Sorry, I should clarify. Ostrich leg. There's two different kinds of ostrich leather. There's ostrich leg, and then there's the actual ostrich hide. The latter is more expensive, and thus is why we have the leg instead. Ostrich leg has a very interesting thing to it where you have basically the patterning here, but it also has these kind of scales to it too. Very unique looking leather, has a very distinctive feel to it, with a very distinctive texture to it. Also very unique coloring to it too. I don't have anything to color match this with, but honestly, looks pretty good. Next up, let's take a look at this. Joel threw this in so that we could see what it looks like after a while. You know, it holds up pretty well. This is also ostrich, kind of an electric blue look to it. It feels like what it is. It's worn, it's a couple years old, but it's held up very well. The paint maybe on the side is looking a little cracked, seen better days, but honestly, it's holding up pretty well. This is 22, and honestly, it speaks volumes to Joel's integrity that he included an older sample just so we could see how his work holds up after a couple years. Next up, we have Buttero Chestnut. This is another higher end sample. This is soft but firm. This is another premium style of leather that honestly is worth the investment. This will last you forever, basically. This will hold up to a lot of abuse, and it looks fantastic. And again, it smells phenomenal. We have another couple samples here. This is hippo. I should say, because this is something that might be a little bit controversial. So yeah, I should clarify that all of Joel's more exotic pieces are ethically and legally sourced. He has a supplier that only imports legally obtained skins and hides. So having clarified that, this is hippo. Hippo has a very particular texture to it. It feels almost like suede, and it's an odd sensation, but it looks amazing. Maybe a different buckle would work better with this, something a little bit bigger, but otherwise it looks pretty. It does end up being a little bit of thicker product. The hippo is a thick skin. Like all of the others, it is built on a foundation of crazy horse. We also have another exotic skin. This is giraffe. The giraffe is pretty interesting because it shows scarring a lot more than the other skins. And that's part of the look, really. That's a scar, that's a scar. Just like the hippo, it is a bit of a thicker skin than all the other ones, which makes for a thicker looking strap. But I can say this is incredibly comfortable, and it feels like it's going to last a very long time. Very durable, and it kind of goes with pretty much anything. Finally, the last sample that we have here. I've mentioned how pretty much all of these are built on a backing of Crazy Horse. This is a straight up Crazy Horse leather strap. I've talked about Crazy Horse in the past, actually in my very first video where I talk about the Phoebus Reef Master. You can see that video here in the corner. But I've talked about Crazy Horse in the past. It's not made from horses. It's cowhide, but it's the same kind that they use to make leather saddles, and it just feels amazing. It lasts a long time, and it ages wonderfully. What did you think about this showcase of straps? I'd love to get your thoughts in the comments down below. In the description, I will leave links to how to get in touch with Joel and commission your own strap. One of the great things about this canvases, you can pretty much imagine anything, and you can talk with Joel about the process, about what you have in mind, and he'll work with you. That's what you're paying for here more than anything, to get a unique work of art that goes well with your watches and enhances the watches that are in your collection. In terms of pricing, these, because they are custom works, they start at around $60, can go up to $100 or even more. But you can talk to Joel, talk it through, and you can maybe work out a payment plan with him if that's a little bit on the pricey side for you. That's all I have for you today. Many thanks to Joel for sending these in. Full disclosure, I do get to keep a couple of these. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to choose yet, but he did tell me that I could just go ahead and keep a couple of those. That did not influence my opinions here. There are some that look a little bit more amateurish than the rest. For example, this suede, I would have loved to see some stitching on there. Same goes for this ostrich, right? But you can tell he was just kind of learning through a process. Joel's been at it for a couple of years, and these represent a good illustration of the evolution of his work. So if you want to get in touch with Joel, everything you need is in the description. For now, that'll be it from me. Thank you. Stay safe. Be kind to each other, because life can change in a split second. Whoa! You made it all the way to the end of the video? Really? That's amazing. Even I don't make it all the way to the end of the video. Well, if you like what you saw, click here for another video and click here to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to ring that bell so you're notified whenever I publish a new video. Thanks for watching.